Hey, welcome to a late Sunday edition of the G.I.JOE 3D Printing Podcast. I am Mark to Design. Mark, Artwann's with us. Mike is going to be along in about 15 minutes. He was finishing up Easter dinner. And we have a very special guest today, Chris McLeod
Hi,
from the Full Force Podcast.
Full Force.
Awesome.
Full Force.
Full Force. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So what was very interesting and special about this podcast is that we managed to not spoil all of our topics before we went live by having all those discussions naturally and then trying to figure out how to remesh them later. So good for us, man.
True. Yeah.
So our kind of plan for this one is like a 3D printing 101. So Chris does not 3D print or 3D design, doesn't really know much about it, knows it's cool. So we're gonna talk about it and see what kind of questions he naturally kind of comes up with that we might normally
I've got
pass
loads.
over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
loads of questions.
Okay.
I've got loads of questions like, what's the meaning of life? What am I doing here?
42, interestingly enough.
What even are you? These are my questions that are coming out tonight.
Outstanding.
So, what's
Sorry.
actually got you intrigued about 3D printing? Like, a lot of people are into it now. So, what's called you about it?
Yeah, so I'll quickly say, actually, Mark, I know a little bit about it. I know a little bit about 3D design. I was for a little while. I got into kind of doing a little bit of customizing myself and doing a little bit from scratch, sort of like 3D design on software.
So
This was many years ago.
Creating mods for games?
No, this was like
Or-
literally creating 3D things to then print for
Okay.
to make. So I when I moved to the States, when I got married to my lovely wife, I moved to the States in was it 20 something teen? It's a long time ago, I forget now. But anyway, when I got there, I kind of got into I was doing loads of stuff with the podcast. I started doing loads more like video stuff and video work. And on the side, I was kind of like, oh, I kind of fancy doing a little bit of 3D kind of design as well. So I got into just I think I picked up some really literal free software. I can't even remember what it was called now, but I had a free software, like an online software, and I was just going, I'll make some custom stuff because I wanted to do my dream as I moved to the States was to make a huge Transformers masterpiece diorama Autobot City. So the plan, and I still have all the plans for it. I'll have to send them your way just so you can see what it was going to look like. But it was effectively a huge big old box type thing, but it would have on the front there'd be a ramp going up, and underneath the ramp there would be the lower level, and then there was an upper level, and then there was an even higher level, and on the higher level there was it was like a computer room with a computer screen and all that kind of stuff, right? The classic Teletran 1 vibes, all orange, all that kind of vibe, right?
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, 100%. It was just kind of like a
It wasn't Metroplex then. It was
no, we're talking like an Autobot sort of kind of orange sort of complex basically.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another section as well. It was all very intricate and there was a lot going on, and I actually surprised myself at what I'd managed to kind of throw together. And I ended up sending what I was going to do is I was going to build the whole thing. I was going to 3D print it. I was just going to build it. I was going to make it kind of like a diorama, and then certain sections I was going to 3D print. And I had a whole corner computer station section that I sent away to be printed. Now we're talking masterpiece here, so we're talking big.
Right.
And the bit that I got, the first bit they did for me cost me a little bit, but they printed it, they did it, and they sent it to me, and then they said, we're not going to be able to do the rest because our printer's broken, and we're really sorry, and we'll send the money back, sort of thing. And I was like, okay, cool. So that kind of stopped me from really going any further with it. So I've got one section of this, in fact, it's around here somewhere. It's not around here. It's in this room I'm in, but it will take me ages to try and dig it out. I should have thought about this beforehand, but that was the only thing I ever got back from my design, and it looked really cool. And I painted it orange. I used it actually on a Bucky O'Hare diorama that I used for Boss Fight Studios. I did a bit of photography for some figures, and there's a whole like orange, like, because it's Bucky, so I did the orange kind of thing, and because I had this computer screen looking thing that was orange, I was like, right, that's going in there as a dio piece. So effectively it has been used and seen in like an official capacity, which is quite funny. But yeah, that was my kind of dipping the toe in. And I never really got back into it once like everything else took off. Like I was doing more of the show, I was doing loads more video editing stuff and all that kind of stuff. It kind of really went away. But to give you a little basis, I have dipped my toe into that kind of arena, and I very much like what was possible. And there was obviously loads more things I could have done with it, but never did.
When we've done our G.I. Joe 3D printing like panel, like at Joe Fest,
yeah,
that's kind of our theme, is like what's possible.
What's possible, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's all possible, right?
A lot of
actually, yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
I was actually just looking at someone today who's creating the shell for a Lamborghini, like real deal thing, and I'm like, holy moly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them make them out of like Legos.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather 3D print it.
Yeah. 3D
I will
print.
say what like you guys do and what I've seen on like the 3D printing Facebook group and everything is just mind blowing. Like I was really excited the other day when I saw it was like a modern classified take on the tactical battle platform, and blew me away. My apologies for forgetting who it was that posted that, but it was amazing.
Like if it was our group,
I think it was.
Real fast.
You're the only 3D printing group I believe I'm in on Facebook, so that would have been the one I saw. But it was amazing, and just really, really cool stuff like that. So I think personally for me, it's something I'm interested in because I like building little diorama scenes for my classified figures, and it's not something. It's well stocked in certainly the fandom level. But in terms of an official capacity, it's not like we have a lot of diorama stuff to purchase. Do you know what I mean? Like in an official kind of like, like how I'm talking Hasbro, Mattel, that kind of thing, right? It's not like there's loads to really buy to get your 6-inch or even your 4-inch diorama needs sorted. So it's really cool that like, this whole fandom is sort of almost like taken the mantle a little bit and kind of like, they've really, really, I don't know, taken it on themselves to kind of fill that gap a little bit.
Supplementing,
yeah.
I
got distracted by something else awesome.
No, he was
a butterfly flew past, and Mark, we lost him. He's going to be looking at that now.
No, I think he's like scrolling down our page.
Oh yeah, I'm in our group scrolling down. Yeah, I saw something. Wow, that's good.
I think in terms of questions for you guys, though, I'd like to throw one out early and kind of get this out of the way. And I think this is one that I think is on a lot of people's minds who want to do this for like, from like the base level starting up, and that is equipment. And what would you say would be a really good, and not even like entry level, but like something to get you in there that is good enough to kind of give you a number of years of, like good quality printing that works with, multiple different kind of formats and what have you.
So normally when we get the what should I buy kind of question, our usual in knee-jerk response is, what is it you want to print?
Exactly.
So are you going to try to do figures or like guns or secondaries, or are you trying to do like vehicles and playsets and stuff?
Yeah.
And I'm at a point where I'm feeling like the gap's starting to really kind of close up.
They're closing a little bit,
because for detail, little fine things, it's always been resin. For big stuff, it's been FDM.
Okay.
And but that gap's getting real close.
Yeah, it's going to be combined soon. It's going to be two different materials coming together to make a new material.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We are probably like 3 years away from.
Yeah, I'd say 3 to 5 years. Yeah.
From something like that.
Honestly, like right now, if you're just looking to start, I would say get a Bamboo Labs.
I've heard that a lot.
That's kind of on the forefront of FDM. It's good quality, and the reason I would say start there versus anything resin is because you don't have the post-processing mess. You don't have to deal with chemicals or flammable combustibles. You don't have to deal with curing.
That's good.
Also, I think another point on that is that's one that you can pretty much take out of the box and just start printing. Like it's not, you don't have to build it. You don't have to,
Yeah.
you know, get it
You're not
all super
wiring it.
dialed in and
Yeah.
all that stuff. It's pretty much you buy it, you take it out the packaging, you put it on your tabletop or wherever you're setting it up, and then you just kind of print.
Nice. Bit of a plug and play scenario going on there.
Yeah,
Pretty close to that.
which
Yeah.
is new. Like I'm with probably within like 3 or 4 months of getting one of these things. I have all these older machines that were great for a long time that are starting to kind of not just lose their luster because they're old, but like these machines wear,
Mm.
you know, especially resin machines. Like if you're buying a resin machine, like
Oh man.
do yourself a favor and scroll and see how many hours of printing it says it can do.
Is it a case of like replacing parts, or is it like you just have to get a new machine at the end of the day?
For
Sort of?
FDM, there you can pretty much replace every single part on that machine typically. Now with the new Bamboo Labs, I don't know if it's going to have like pieces that are sealed or proprietary or anything like that. I don't know. But like we've got CR10s, and if you have like any of the Enders or the Crealities, like you can buy a print head, you can buy an extruder, you can buy the Teflon tube, you can buy all the things and replace them. But
Nice.
it's never factory again, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I think with the Bamboo Labs, I'm not sure if there's a bunch of proprietary parts or anything like that, but that's just it. They haven't broke down yet.
Right.
So that's also a good sign.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
there's a lot of people who say like, certain things maybe didn't work or something like that, but the vast majority of people say it's those machines, they just work.
So and there's a problem when and I found this to be true with FDM, and is why I think I've always preferred resin. Your first print isn't a print; it's fucking around for days and hours, dialing it in, leveling the bed, getting everything just right, and the positive of being able to open the box and like just start printing and it works. Like I wonder how many machines are collecting dust because they just couldn't get the first couple prints to work and they gave up.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be the case.
Yeah, ever since I got the Bamboo, I have about 6 other like Enders and things like that I rarely turn on anymore, which is crazy. Like they're starting to be like the graveyard.
Yeah, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It's like, what are we going to do with these old machines that we're never going to use again? Like, can we donate them to the high school or something? Like,
that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then let the high school kids struggle trying to print something.
No, I sort of do that. Like I'm actually doing a summer camp.
Oh, cool.
I kind of do it every year, and I bring them the Enders, and we have to like build them and get them all set up, and it is grueling, that process. But it's to show the kids like, hey, this is sort of like the reality of it right now. As things get better and progress, you don't even have to do this anymore. But it's good to have at least
and when you knew your machine was going to break down, and by break down I just mean like start failing, you needed to know how to take it apart, put it together, and what did what. But it seems like that might be becoming obsolete now.
Could be. It could be.
Doesn't take long, does it?
Ooh.
Well, 3D tabletop 3D printing has been around for a while. 3D printing has been around for a long time. It just most people weren't in industries where it was cost effective for them to have one.
Absolutely.
Or need one, right? So a lot of times it used to be a lot of like architect firms, because they would design these buildings in CAD and whatnot, and then they would just 3D print the model to show the client. So you had a lot of stuff there. Resin 3D printing is big in the dental industry and has been.
Oh God, yeah. That's something I noticed. A friend of mine was in the industry for that, and they were talking about that. We're talking like, God, it was a long time ago when they were talking about 3D printing stuff. Like, I don't even want to hazard a guess at how long ago it was. It was before I even got into like. I was in the UK for a long period of time, and they were talking about it back then. And God, could that even have been like early 2000s or
Yeah.
mid 2000s.
Wow. Yeah.
It's been around.
Jeez.
So, but
now I just feel old. Thanks,
so there's
guys.
there's a documentary on Netflix. I tell everyone to that's interested to watch, and it's called Printing the Legend, and it's about that transition from like only commercial businesses can afford these machines to let's make some affordable for a desktop.
Yeah.
And it's about that, and it's a great documentary.
That's cool. I'll check it out. It out.
But you'll be surprised how long some of this stuff's been around.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I'm also not surprised because I mean it's always been in like the news. They've always talked about it. Like it's always been one of those things that's kind of been discussed. It's always been on the kind of in the zeitgeist a little bit for a long period of time. But it's all for the longest time. It was not really practical or cost effective or but you knew it was coming. At some point you'd get to that point where they'd work it out, and it'd be like the materials, they'd work out exact like the build to make it worthwhile. And we definitely seem to be in like the kind of golden age for that right now, especially when you take into consideration all those kind of like fancy Kickstarters for like all those.
A couple of printing types and material types that once they are able to get affordable, we're gonna really be there. And I think that's another thing. We're like 3 to 5 years. And
it's already come on quite quickly. For a while there's that thing of like it was always leaving the kind of lines, the 3D
the layer
lines and everything. And you get to the point now where you can kind of like print stuff and that is like minimized. You know what I mean? Like you're and it's getting to that point now where you're like, okay, I can see this being a thing. Like I see I see prints on a daily basis, like from companies that I use in my 9 to 5 work time in the industry, and that stuff comes through all the time. We see it, we check it out, but you almost use them as blooming half the time as like the final piece to go to tooling and what have you. So like it's kind of crazy how far it's come in such a short period of time. And I say it's a short period of time, it's that whole thing of like it's the overnight success, but you haven't seen the decades and decades of work.
It's like from the time it became very public, which is about 10 years ago to now. Like because there's so much money in it now, it's moving fast.
Well, there wasn't that right around about the time when it came out. There was that whole thing of you can print. We'll be printing our own action figures. We won't be buying them as normal. That hasn't happened yet, but that was certainly toted, wasn't it? That was toted.
We are real close.
We are, super real close. That's what I do.
We did a episode about it a week ago. We're real close
because we're in that situation where you could go to Etsy, you can buy files for like a vehicle or a figure or whatever, and you can print it out, and hey presto, you've got it. You can customize it, paint it, whatever you want to do. But like from a company perspective, like a Hasbro or any one of the the big companies that are out there, for them to be in a position to be like, pre-orders are up, but if you've got your own 3D printer, you can just make it. Like
that would be crazy.
We're a little. I'm not sure how far away we are.
And I don't think that's gonna for a big company like Hasbro. I don't think that's gonna ever really happen because once it becomes a file, you need some pretty serious encryption and
proper security.
To keep it.
Are you saying, Mark, that Hasbro haven't got the best tech team behind them when it comes to this stuff? Because I think you're right.
So there's file security and keeping people who haven't paid for the file from using it, which is a problem now for everyone. But if Hasbro moved to a model where they were selling the file, I don't think they could compete with the little guys.
No.
And for that reason alone, I don't think it'll happen. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Happy Easter.
Hi.
Happy Easter. Sorry I'm late.
No, you're good.
Been a hectic day, but in a good way.
Should we start again? Should we start from the beginning?
Yes.
Yeah, with the green room conversation.
What is as I'm back to bouncing all back and forth here, trying to get this. That'll work.
Cool.
Oh,
so we were
nice spread behind you, Juan.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm just trying to get on your guys' level.
Oh no! Don't try to get on my level. I have like 6 of them at this point.
Oh, okay.
And I don't hear it. I don't hear a printer running in the background.
No.
Yep. Taking a little break.
Yep.
All right.
So how are you doing, Chris?
Yeah, good. Thank you very much. Good, thanks. Having fun, just chatting 101 in the printing 3D printing realm. It's been interesting so far. Got a lot of questions answered even. So yeah, got more to come as well.
So have you two met?
A little bit indirectly. I reached out to you maybe about a year ago after Joe Fest, and I sent you the Robo Skull.
Yes, 100%, man. Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say there's been a kind of like meet, a kind of connected situation, but yeah, it's nice to properly meet you in this environment.
Properly virtually meet.
Yeah, properly virtually, sort of. This is about as real as life gets now, though, isn't it? Let's face it.
Very true.
Well, I don't actually meet people in person. That would be weird, right?
Oh, no, that'd be terrible.
This is safe distance, so it's all good.
Social distancing.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so actually coming back to that kind of comment about how it's going, how long do you think we're talking before we're in a position where it sort of makes buying action figures obsolete in the old way? Do you think that ever happens?
Yes. I don't think I think we've got some time, because I look at my kids, they don't care about action figures or toys, and that's kind of how that generation is.
I don't either. I hate action figures.
They want skins for their video games. I've said this 1,000 times, but they're not into physical stuff even, like the way we were. I think in the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see the printing technology get to a point where we can have like this nice intersection of quality, meaning like small layers so you can't see layer lines, and durability. And once it / ease of printing, and once it gets there, there's going to be a lot of folks like your Etsy guys like me, who are going to have files you can get that you can make yourself something nice. The problem that what's holding it back now is deco.
Yeah,
because at the end of the, most people don't like to paint, and will tell you they can't paint, and they're never going to put the energy in and try. Some people will, which is great, but most people, that's a game killer.
Could you see? I know this is tangentially connected, but could you see in the future almost like having a mini factory in your as a setup, where you could have a 3D printer that's like kicking stuff out at a decent pace, real good quality, and you'd have a little tampo application situation going on, like that kind of thing. So not only are you making like your figures, but you've got like maybe a little in the same vein of like a 3D printer, a automatic tampo applicator as well.
Well, what you have is
that's where we are almost right now.
You 3D print the thing for the tampo to hit. The ink on. And then you print the bit, like the way tampo, you know this, but I'm going to say it. The way the tampos
pretend
work,
I'm not in the industry. Do that.
The way the tampos work is you it's almost like the vacuum form that the packaging goes into, right? Your plastic piece only fits one way. You put it in there, tampo comes down, hits it, and on to the next one. So if you can 3D print the piece, you can 3D print where what holds the thing, and you 3D print the little part that restricts the paint from getting onto the tampo. If you can make all those things, there's a machine set up, and you just print out that shit, load it up, and start going. That's possible. But there's still going to be things that some folks want to do, like if there's going to be any kind of like washing or dry brushing. And that technology, it'll start rough and get better if it catches on.
Thing is, though, Mark, on Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise had a backpack that when he opened it up, it literally just sprayed the dude's face on that little mask. So why doesn't that exist right now? Why are we not in Mission Impossible territory? Like, why can't I make my own mask that also has a voice app thing as well?
Well, I can't speak to the voice changing thing, but the other thing It's close, but it's not going to be affordable for us for a long time, if
So-
ever.
Yeah.
Only the Impossible Mission team can deal with that.
It's
at the
because they
moment.
have an impossible budget. Like that's
That's true.
that's the impossible part.
Well,
Right.
that and
So I think one of the other things, the key word that you said was, or that was said, was quality. So like right now, with like Bamboo Labs and your AMS system, which is multi-color filaments, basically, you are somewhat capable of doing some of the coloration or painting aspects within 3D printing. And to the point where, and I've probably mentioned this before in another podcast, I've seen people do the eyes on like an action figure by just sort of inputting that into the system before printing.
Nice.
So that at least gives you one of the banes of actually doing an action figure is painting the eyes. Exactly.
Everyone hates eyes, man.
Exactly. So
Especially when we were all 4-inch collectors. My God, that was
exactly.
Imagine being a mask customizer. Sorry, carry on.
Oh boy. Yeah. So
Well, I mean, some of the best guys come over from like the tabletop mini.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And they can handle 4-inch no problem.
That's literally what I did as a kid. Like I was painting Warhammer figurines and all sorts of stuff. I had Space Hulk. I was playing tabletop nerd games, going into Games Workshop every week. I loved it. But it was tough. Like painting tiny figures. Yeah, that was especially like almost like having to copy paste that to like 50 figures or something stupid like that. Yeah, that was never fun. But I get it.
I think
I'm looking
that
forward to Operation Cobra. Sorry.
Oh boy. Yeah, but I think that potential is steadily increasing. Like we're already kind of there where you can see people doing it now. Like Mark is saying, in like 3 years, that's going to be cakewalk. That'll be
there's a type of printing, and I have it on that slide. I can pull it up if we really want to know. But it basically is 3D printing, and it's similar to inkjet, where just the head comes across and you can put down whatever damn color little plastic pixel you want. Like that printing does exist. It's just you're talking about $500,000 for the machine.
Oh yeah. So, and then the material is expensive as well.
So like
all possible, but just not practical.
The technology exists. It's just it's a matter of cost.
Yep.
I mean, just think of where we are in 10 years, where we're pressing a button and figure just pops up on the table.
Crazy.
Yeah,
comes out like
kind of our running joke is that a lot of people who just don't understand 3D printing will start out and be like they think it's the replicator from Star Trek.
Right. Yeah.
No, we're not there, but just the idea.
That's what you want.
That it's getting easier.
Do you know what I want? I want. You remember in Aliens, when at the beginning scene when all of the life pods open up and all of the Space Marines come out like that. I want that, but just all the action figures coming out of the. She's got like a line of these pods, and they all open, and it's like, oh, sweet, done. Yeah, that's where we need to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, along the lines of Tampo, this is another thing that I've seen experimented with. I've got a friend that does a lot of kind of experimental 3D printing, and one of the things he does is printing like this.
Okay.
So basically, what he did is he printed this in PLA, and then he hits it with a laser to do all the texting.
Oh, like laser etching sort of thing.
It's laser etching, and every color of PLA has a alternate color from when it's hit with the laser. So in this case, the black PLA that he's using, he's found that it creates like a brown text.
Cool.
So, and what this specific device is, this is a tire gauge measurer.
Oh, that's cool.
So, you check the gauge on your tire, you stick that in, and it gives you the depth of your tires. But there is readable text that was simply shot with a laser, printed on
there.
That's cool.
There we go.
Well, it's better than this.
Oh, nice.
I was going to show like these, but
Okay.
it's sort of the same thing, except not laser etched. That is what you showed is beautiful. But I mean, this is what's
Okay, so that's
definitely
multiple layers
possible.
on a bamboo.
Yep, this is what's
Okay.
possible now on the bamboos. And like I said, you can also just go ahead and do your eyeballs on a figure and things like that. Like we're being able to program multicolors to be able to do some of the things that you just kind of hate or dread doing in printing. Well, Mike is showing is actually kind of next level. I like that.
Yeah, that's
yeah. It's some fascinating stuff, and he just does this kind of stuff as a hobby. He loves tinkering and playing, and how can I rig up a laser on my old 3D printer to be able to shoot away plastic or shoot away metal.
That's nuts.
So,
that is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And
that's all my questions. That's everything I have, guys. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
There's more.
Printing I was talking about.
I just want to make a comment, Chris, to go back as to why you can't have the face mask from Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
One of the key things is there's Hollywood magic involved, because remember that movie makes Tom Cruise look like he's 6 foot tall. So.
Hey, if they can make Tom Cruise look 6 feet, then anything is possible, right?
Exactly.
He was Reacher somehow. I don't understand how that worked.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
That there's the scene in the first movie where he's in a car and the cops are behind him and he kind of gets out and the car keeps going and he stands with this crowd of people. Like they just found a bunch of short fucking people to be in that scene with him.
Yeah. They were children and then they just they like CGI'd all different older people's heads on them. That's what they did.
He's walking around on cans with strings.
Poor Tom Cruise. Poor guy.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and thinking that's some Zartan level stuff with the mask. I remember that. It just reminded me like what it was funny about it was it's like that was so much like well after Zartan, obviously in the time in the history of the universe, but like it was so interesting to see just how much G.I. Joe has affected other things in the future, like how the designs of certain things have then like pushed that going forward, and it's really odd stuff that pops up every now and again that I can't even remember what the one I was thinking of, but obviously the Zartan one sticks out to me because that was effectively a different mask would be made in his backpack, and then you'd open it up and a different it would create a different face, he'd put it on, and that was literally lifted for Mission Impossible, like that whole idea of that making it on in like a cool little like in just a little open the case and there you go sort of thing. And there's so many of those kind of like there's so many examples of that with G.I. Joe. Like it was a weirdly interesting trendsetter. Or when they were doing the research, like when the Legends were kind of like researching certain like weaponry or accessories or military aspects, because the military were kind of working a little bit in the future as well, it was like this sort of thing of like, well, they're looking at stuff that is probably going to be happening in the future, and that sort of happened with Joe, and they were pushing everything into the future before it was even like a thing. And then we're getting it kind of go as kids going, yeah, that's a bit far-fetched, but like enjoying it because it's fun. And then like 3 or 4 years later, oh, that's actually part of the military now. That's kind of crazy. So it's talking about the kind of like the way that technology moves. It's the kind of same with the 3D stuff, man. We're going to be in like it's not going to be long before we get even more improvements, and it just seems to be improving like on a like a yearly basis. We're getting crazy leaps in this tech. It's nuts.
Absolutely.
I remember going to Hasbro it was HasCon, so this would have been like 2017. Gosh, okay, millions of years ago. So I went to that HasCon and we had a trip around the building. They cleared out all of the important NDA stuff and they walked us through like it was like part of the ticket for the G.I. Joe side of things. So we were basically, I got lucky because I got to go with like Ron Rudat, Guy Cassaday, friggin' anyone that was anyone on the 80s G.I. Joe development team, like they were there, and it was amazing. So like I managed to sneak in and get in with them. We went to the Pawtucket, Rhode Island HQ, and we kind of all like filed in and everything, and they basically cleared the whole place out because HasCon literally had everyone who was working for Hasbro at the time was working at the event at HasCon, which was just down the road in Providence. And so like we go in there, it's kind of empty, and we're walking around this, like they'd done it on purpose, they'd set things up like they had down what's known as oh god, what's it called, there's this one, I think it's called Main Street, they call it, and it's like it's a long kind of alleyway that cuts through the building. And when you get to that point, they put out all of the old G.I. Joe portraits they still had, all of the old Garrido paintings, Hart paintings, Norum paintings. They had whatever they had left for Joe, which wasn't much, and they had a bunch of like G2 and G1 Transformer stuff as well. It was unbelievable. Like the original paintings for the box art and the card art and everything. It was mind-blowing. And we go around, we're walking around, and we go into like offices and all sorts of stuff, and they take us into this room which had these brand new, at the time 2017, these brand new 3D printers which they had there on site so they could quickly knock these things out to show how they would work, like, you know, head sculpts and parts and pieces. And then they had like just tons of parts knocking about, just like, you know, just hanging around, stuff that we were looking at and going, that's like an unreleased Roadblock head that hasn't come out yet. Like, you know, we were like kind of going, oh my god, this is like legit. They either don't realize this or they don't care. They probably didn't care, but like there was loads of stuff like that knocking about. But they had these like really cool, futuristic as hell 3D printers, and the story was that a company had done a Kickstarter for these 3D printers, and Hasbro just swooped in and bought them out basically, so that they could have those 3D printers in house. And at the time they were like crazy expensive, crazy ahead of the curve, like super fast.
Form 2.
I don't know. I really wish I'd really wish I'd taken some notes and like written down like what the actual models were and all that kind of stuff. But it was definitely some like serious like gear in that room, and it was really cool. It was like, you know, you go into in those movies like Alien movies when you go into like the lab and there are loads of these like you know, face huggers in friggin' glass containers and stuff. It was like that. There was like about 10 of these friggin' like things, and they were really cool. They were about this tall as well. They were tall things. They were like from the ground up, and they were sort of domed as well. So like they basically everything would go on inside, and then the dome would come up, and you take the stuff out. It was crazy. So yeah, I remember that vividly. That was some fun times walking around there.
Wow, especially for 2017. And
well, I mean, that's when the like Formlabs was.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, that's what they used for Selfie Series, wasn't it? Formlabs.
Possibly.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think for Selfie Series.
I'm not saying it was a good thing. I'm just saying that
to my knowledge, those heads weren't 3D printed. They were manufactured.
There's a video of it though, isn't there, where they show them coming out of the printer, the heads coming out of the printer.
I want to see this.
If you go back to, God, what year was it? 22 probably. 22. It might have been 21. Yeah, 22, I think it was.
All right. If we can find this,
there's a video where they talk. I think it's Formlabs, because that was the connection. That was like the company that were doing like helping with the technology, I guess.
Okay.
But I remember there's a whole video where there's like a bunch of heads on sticks that kind of come out of like this machine, and it was like a machine that's in Hasbro that had Formlabs written on it and everything.
It was a official Hasbro video.
Yep, with Formlabs. I'm sure it was Formlabs.
Yeah, I'm actually. Yep, I think you're right, because I don't see the video, but I see an article where it's actually talking about Formlabs, and it's showing official stuff from Hasbro, and then it's showing some mocked up pictures of. Let me go ahead and let me share.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, I can share from mine. Go.
How much did the Selfie Series annoy you guys? As 3D printers, how much did that annoy?
Quite a bit.
So this article,
my issue
is literally Formlabs and Hasbro commercially launched Selfie Series of 3D printed figures.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
It makes sense. I couldn't see.
There it is.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yep.
I,
So that's the
I couldn't
formula.
see them actually manufacturing. Like, imagine the cost on that. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Well, my thing is they were inkjetting the faces on.
Yeah, but that's possibly all capable in house. They probably have that stuff. But I'm saying, like, getting the head plastic manufactured and then shipped off and shipped back and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
It was
Well, I
pretty
mean,
quick,
if there's a
wasn't it?
part of an action figure, you can get away with 3D printing. It's the head.
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
exactly.
Yeah. I think they were probably running before they could walk a little bit with the Selfie series. I
Yeah.
kind of feel like there was
It was
probably an
ambitious.
element where they could have held a little bit.
So here's my issue, and it's showing right there. It's hairstyles and things like that. Like, they weren't trying hard enough to really be able to personalize a head sculpt.
They didn't
Right.
have my
Well,
hairstyle yet. I was gutted.
so this is my issue. It's like when I didn't think they were 3D printing, I understood why they didn't look like people.
Right, but
Now that I know they're 3D printing, like, what the fuck?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
even more irritating. Yes.
So, but my thing was this: like, what they took a risk,
Yeah.
which I don't think of Hasbro as being willing to do very much of, and this was a big risk for them to take, and
It's really-
I appreciate that.
It's really funny, in it, because like I know for a fact, because we've it's historically there are there you go, like there are things basically that have been like developed at Hasbro that have gone almost to the point of being released, and then they just stop and they go no, and they just scrap it all, or they stop it and they cut the development and everything. That we're talking like millions of dollars of development to do something, and this happens on like fairly regular basis. Like, it's not like something that is just every now and again, like every 10 years they spend like too much money on something. Like, this happens like frequently. And so yeah, you're right, like there's an element of a risk take here that it to a degree is a risk take, because in the past they have just like gone, no, well, we'll just scrap that and do something else.
Yeah.
So hey Mike, can you back it up like 20 seconds, 30 seconds?
Sure.
Cool.
All right. I think this is like stock Formlabs. A lot of so see that cause it. Oh, go back.
Yep.
What's missing from that right there?
This is a good test question. I have no idea.
Where's the fucking mess?
Where's
the liquid dripping off?
Yeah, but that depends. Are they using liquid?
Yes, that's a Formlabs Form 1.
Well, okay. Maybe they didn't want to pull it out and show.
Right, like for the sake of the video.
Oh yeah,
look at all those prints that didn't fail.
And it's just clean.
Everything's
it's all
clean.
Yeah.
What's happened here, and I can attest to this because I do a lot of video
It's
stuff where you
appropriate.
do this. You do this thing where you're like, right now, I want you to close that lid. I want you to open it while we're recording, and I want you to take the thing out and just turn it around. Like there's a thing sometimes when you're like, this person that's talking about, that's directing this, has no idea what is actually going on when it comes to this stuff.
She should be
the
wearing
reality.
She should be wearing gloves.
Yes.
There is no liquid dripping all over the fucking place.
Yeah, it was already cleaned.
Yeah.
Or they weren't using the goop. But isn't there a powder?
I love that shot right there.
That is so. Yeah. So there's a shot coming up where it's swiping across.
Oh yeah, that's liquidy for sure.
Okay. But that's also a different machine. Yeah, right there.
That.
There you go. What the hell is that?
That's just laminating the business cards for Formlabs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's just doing ID.
And I don't have a Formlabs. I guess we could ask Carson.
Yeah, there's the hair pieces.
Are they keeping just just enough resin in the vat to keep the next print going, so they swipe across?
Maybe. Rekship said it seems like they had like 4 or 5 generic head shapes that they just inkjet the face scan onto and then add on the selected hair piece. Which that's what I'm saying. I don't think.
And that would make sense too, because
I mean, that's how they would, if they were manufactured like an injection mold, that's how they would have done it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm not getting is, can you pause it, Mike? Sorry.
Go back to that.
Go back. Okay, there are support elements making contact with what will be visible parts of the face.
Mm-hmm.
How are they getting so clean? You know what I mean?
Multiple people doing it, I guess.
I've only seen a handful of Selfie Series, but none of them had like those little 3D printing artifacts from where the supports were touching.
Right.
Someone's doing it. Interns, maybe. Model shop.
But I mean, sometimes like, are they printing way more than they need and just keeping the good
And
ones?
just take the best one.
I'm going to find this information out for you guys because I'm now really intrigued as to how
And another thing, like,
this
so
was
look
done.
at the skate for this is the raft for the support. See that elephant foot it's got kind of at the bottom. It should just, the whole point of having that shape come down is so you can get something
underneath.
So when you have that little piece that comes back out, that defeats the whole purpose of that shape of raft. So like something's afoot there.
Well,
like the guy who normally runs the machines wasn't there that day, so they had someone else loaded. I'm not kidding. Like that's a mistake. Something's wrong with that.
What's more telling is that to me, when I see this looks like every print that I've pulled off. Like, what, if I could do this at home, why would I have Hasbro do this?
Also, it took so long with the actual app I think I took 6 or 7 attempts before I was happy with what I was seeing just on the app. And then the actual figure, I didn't have the right haircut. They didn't have my haircut at the time, which is weird because it was like the generic male white haircut for like that era. And then it was like they did, for some reason, they gave me the wrong hair color, so it didn't match my beard color. It was really, it was a mess. Really,
the two-tone.
Yeah, it was odd, really odd. So yeah. The 2.0 version was a little bit better, but again, I think they ran before they walked on that one.
That app was created for dentists.
Mm-hmm.
And I had it. I think I had like the paid version of it or something. So like I knew I wanted to try and do head scanning, and I knew I didn't want to pay for an actual scanner. So I tried to find apps that would work on my phone. I ended up upgrading my phone 1 or 2 versions so that I could get an app or multiple apps and then try them. And the one that I found worked the best disappeared after a few months.
Mm-hmm.
Like they shut the server down and it was just gone. And it turned out it's because Hasbro bought it.
Wow. That's so random.
Yeah.
It's funny when those things happen in real time, isn't it? And you kind of see it from a different perspective and you're just like, oh, that's why that happened.
Yeah. I downloaded the Selfie Series app, and as soon as I opened it, and it's like you hold the phone and you got to like turn your head.
Right.
And like that was exactly how that other app worked. I'm like, that's interesting. And then I talked to somebody that had worked on it, and they confirmed it that they 100% took that app.
I am very curious about like what mixture of resin were they using now that I see this.
Yeah. And that could be some proprietary thing. Like they can afford to get a company to mix them a good flesh tone thing. Well, shit, it's Formlabs. So Formlabs came up with it for them.
Right. Very interesting.
Yeah, because everything Formlabs is proprietary. Like even just to put that resin in, it's in a special container so that it can like load into the vat and then suck itself back out. So you like Formlabs, you're only using Formlabs resin with their machines.
Oh, wow.
It was. I think it was a really good idea. I think it's definitely something that needed probably another couple of years of proper development, which is hard to say because I don't know where they really were at with it at the time. Like they may have felt confident at the time, but I do have a feeling that there was like a lot of shortcomings that I think they were probably aware of.
I think if they had waited till about now, the problem with that app is it's scanning like kind of the front and not really getting much of the back.
Yeah. You do a scan thing, don't you, Mark?
Yeah.
You literally do a scan with an app sort of
Yeah,
thing,
I do.
don't you?
I do a scan with an app, and then it's not even close to perfect, but it gets me close enough that I can get into. It's actually like 4 different programs I use. I can take that file and make it a solid, and then go into ZBrush, and I have to always resculpt
I was going to
the
say it's
eyes,
probably
clean
ZBrush,
up the
yeah.
nose. I have to resculpt the mouth. I have to resculpt the ears. I have to do all the hair. So it's still like a bunch of work, but the initial scan just gets me so close that it's manageable.
Yeah.
Instead of doing a portrait from nothing, which is I'm not
And
there yet.
It's
I'm
one
close,
thing.
but I'm
It's
not
one
quite
thing as
there.
well, like doing something for an individual, isn't it? It's another thing, like doing thousands of the bloody things.
At some point, hopefully in the next year or so, like I'm gonna get out of the selling 3D prints business altogether because I don't enjoy it. It's a ton of work.
Yeah.
Real messy, and I'd really rather just be doing design.
Right.
Just do design. Yeah, but I think with AI now, if Hasbro had waited, and there's no way they could have predicted the future, but
Of course.
the way it is now, if you can get a good scan of just the face, you can have AI build out the rest.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then 3D print it, and then it's gonna look like that person versus what we got.
I'm just going to get AI to do my job now as well, and then I can just relax and chill out. That's how it works, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's how it works, right?
You can
we're all out of work in 10
sure.
years. Like,
I won't tell my employer that I'm using AI to do my.
There you go. There you go.
You're allowed to work smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
That's a joke, by the way. If my employer is watching, I'm very much joking about it.
I love
or am
my
I?
job.
Or am I AI? Maybe the job I'm talking about is the podcast job, in which case this is all fake. I'm not real. That's hilarious. This is Adam Savage's channel, which I do very much enjoy.
Yeah. So this was a video that popped up after looking at the Selfie Series, and I thought this would be interesting because this is a different type of printing technique.
So I think this is MJS.
Yes, I believe so. But what it actually creates is this is literally more like an inkjet, to where you're taking a full color model and you print. Let's see if I can get.
They'll put him in a room and do a 3D scan of his whole person inside this room.
But then this is the way that it actually comes out of the 3D print.
How do they get?
That's different. That's
not MJS.
That's cocaine. I think
that's closer to SLS.
Oh, they're printing in baking soda. I see.
I don't understand how they're getting color doing this, but
yeah, this is what I was talking about. But wow, I've never seen the actual process like this.
I guess in this case, the sand is used for the supports.
Yeah,
but all the individual colors are printed.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because see, they've got the 3 color cartridges up at the top.
Oh yeah.
Yep. CMYK.
That's dope.
Yeah, there's no
sand is not something
there has
that
to be
I've seen before. So that's very interesting.
So the reason this won't just like translate to us getting figures printed is because there's no articulation built in.
I was going to say,
although I bet this thing could do a pinless joint.
That's what I was thinking. That possibility is there.
That powder,
well enough.
Especially if that powder dissolves.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a really
cheap
multi-million-dollar machine. Each of those prints is probably a couple $1,000s per. So on that side of it, the technology is not there. Where it's
I'll tell you now, it looks like not only are they going to be expensive, but there's going to be a street value for the rest of them. Hopefully they can ship that without any issues. But yeah, that looks amazing.
But yeah, if you were to take that and make it an action figure, he got scanned, and then you would need somebody with the engineering knowledge to come in and chop it up and put all the different types of articulation into it.
Yeah,
and then,
that would be tough.
It's not just cutting, right? You got to resculpt some of those areas.
So, imagine being able to print in place, though. So all the articulation in place.
Yeah,
that would
in
be
color.
In color. That's what I'm saying.
But see, and here's a guy with an X-Acto knife. It's still a process. You've got.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
I was going to say there must be like a process where they just put it in something and then it just dissolves everything around it. Like you'd think that would be like a pretty easy way of getting around that aspect of it, but look, that's
Well,
nuts.
they want to reclaim as much of that powder as they can because it's expensive.
Oh, I see. Right, yeah.
So interesting, though.
Wow.
And that's not bad looking at all.
So I guess if you had like a standard pose, like when you go through the scanner at the airport and you're doing this number, if they have like a standard pose and they can get your scan that way, and then like once they figure out how to break that and articulate it and resculpt again, like you could probably have some kind of AI software that just like can break down individual.
I mean, this would be perfect.
You know,
this would be perfect for statues, wouldn't it? Like
statues, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have to do it the same way again, really, for statues. But yeah, the articulation just adds that really difficult aspect. I mean, stuff still needs engineering, and like it's crazy. Well, I think not. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are aware of it, but like those that aren't,
and they're
seeing it, people that aren't there in the like actually in the industry or kind of like going through the process. When you get like a test shot from a factory, you're gonna have like so many comments to make on every single aspect of the articulation. Like, this is too tight, this is too loose, this isn't quite, this part here needs to be shaved off a little bit, there needs to be like a bit more movement here, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
That then goes back with those comments, and then you'll get another one back. But you're talking about as well, like in terms of the time, you're talking about mostly China to the US, for example, just as an example. Like the amount of time it takes to get those things back and forth just to be like, okay, this is right now.
Yep.
That could take
and that's even faster now.
passes.
Like, it's not like when they were sculpting in wax and shipping this stuff, because now
100%.
it's just like we're sending STL files and
100%.
Step files and
Still
stuff.
takes friggin' ages.
Yeah, it still takes forever, and it's all
the only way around it is to have somebody who is of the same like quality standards mindset as you at your company, as a person based at in China, doing the quality control, doing the tests on the figures, so you don't have to do that. That's the only way around it. It's really difficult getting that, and you have to like build relationships with factories over years to kind of get that right. Do you know what I mean as well?
And I'll tell you, just from having kind of dealt with it, I think whoever would at the big factories where they they're just making stuff for everybody, which engineer gets your project will dictate a certain amount of wiggle room this way. And if if you sent it on Tuesday, it would have been this guy, but now so there's definitely like that human factor plays a lot into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mike, do you have your Techno Viper like right there somewhere?
Yep, I got them right here.
Let me show that.
I got my me.
That's phenomenal. That is phenomenal. I've seen that. I've seen that before.
That's spot on.
I've seen you post that before, actually, I believe. But that's
awesome. That is some incredible work. That is Mark's handiwork.
And like, I'm embarrassed by it now because I like, in my mind, I'm so much better at sculpting now. And that was like
that's like a Selfie Series figure to Mark now, isn't it, Mark?
Mark, or can someone let my screen up, the share screen?
Oh yeah.
Oh, lovely stuff, dude. That's freaking awesome.
I mean, where Hasbro could probably get it right if they do it one more time. Go ahead. Who's that one?
It's just the head that came with the thing.
I should find my Selfie Series just for a laugh. Where is it?
Yeah, I want to see it. I
think it's here, like next to me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still.
Yeah, honestly, I think if Hasbro really wanted to make it work, they would have not made every person be Snake Eyes.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, no kidding. It should have been army builders. It should have been a Cobra Trooper or a Viper.
Troopers.
And that would have been a great time to have a green shirt,
Green shirt or what's the other one?
Steel Brigade.
The Steel Brigade.
Or whatever they ended up calling it.
Yep.
Steel Corps.
Steel Corps. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that would have been no kidding. That would have been real nice. And then the hole, the peg, the joint, the ball joint.
Yeah.
Mhm.
From my understanding, it was not the same size as like the rest of the figures. So it's not like you could get the
Weird.
Selfie Series, pop the head off, and then stick it on your Viper or Trooper. Or
Yeah. Yeah, that seemed like a huge missed opportunity.
Okay, I'm gonna go on a mission. I'm still here.
He's looking. He's
I'm still in
Alright.
the room.
But I mean, I have more of a unique hairstyle, as Mark figured out. He was like, "Oh boy, how am I going to do this?" But this is what I'm saying as far as where I was disappointed with Hasbro. Those generic styles they had weren't close to right for certain demographics, basically.
Yeah.
Which also would be hard to do because most, I'm going to say it, most POCs like a little tight fade or whatever, and their hair pieces weren't trying to do that at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but like applying a deco with a fade is a challenge, I suspect.
Yeah.
Like painting a one off is no big deal, but
Yeah.
can you zoom in? Did
I
I paint that or did you paint that?
You painted. I just touched up itty bitty parts, but this was you, bro.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
maybe
that
we
looks
should
good.
zoom in then. Yeah.
I think that's really good. Really good. All right, let me stop sharing. I got the
Yeah,
dogs
that's your-
going.
I'm basically just making a mess in this room right now. Hi. I definitely want to find it because it'd be really funny.
No, I'm definitely curious to see how his stacked up because he got the Hasbro one.
Yeah. I regret not doing it, especially when they had that sale at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really regret not doing that.
I just wasn't going to try it. I would have just had like a fro or something.
So, does anybody do any screen printing?
I have not. No.
Say
Screen printing, like self-screen.
screen printing.
I worked for Starter for a little while back in the day, and that was kind of my big experience. And I actually had a class in high school.
Yeah, I did it in high school. I did it. Yeah, in high school, I was a printer's apprentice.
Yeah, that's cool. Can't find it, huh?
Can't find it. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Oh,
I just had a little. That's good for the radio, that isn't it? It might be one of these boxes, which is really annoying. Could be anywhere. At this point.
I didn't get that those were boxes. I thought they were.
No, these are promo boxes.
Boxes.
It's like
I
a flex,
recognize those.
basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If I had
It's a low level
I had
flex.
seen them, and but when you said if they were in these boxes and you touched it, I was like, oh,
Do you know what?
that's what those are.
I do have pictures of it, and that's just as good, right?
Yeah, that works.
Oh, yeah, it's like being there.
Hang on, let me find it. Yeah, here it is. So you ready for this?
There
Are you
go.
ready for this,
Make his
guys?
screen large.
I don't think you're ready for this.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's the hair, bro. Because the face is actually decent. Yeah, it's the hair.
I like that they were able to get a smile, which is nice.
That's my face. So
You know what would be actually? You know what could fix that?
Nail polish remover.
No. So if you could pop the hair off and 3D print your fresh hat, it would be spot on.
Yeah.
my Stay Fresh cheese bags. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be really cool, actually, wouldn't it? It's the closest I could get hair wise, unfortunately, at the time. Apparently, the 2.0, when you said they did that sale, that was for the 2.0 version, and they did it was another little stand that was like a G.I. Joe like deco on it and some crap as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't really want to do it again. I was just like, oh, I can't be bothered. And they did, I think, have my I did have a good haircut that I could have used, which is a shame. But you know, is what it is.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not recommending it, but I wonder how hard it is to pop the hair off, if it's even possible. If they
I
glued
don't.
it in there, like it could.
I'm
Just,
sure it's possible, but it's going to take some doing and some
Yeah.
damage as well, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but that's why you wear the hat.
two-tone guys, brown hair, black beard. What were they
Snake
thinking?
Eyes, put the mask back on.
I didn't even choose that. I chose the same color hair to my facial hair. Should have sent it back. Should have sent it back, shouldn't I? Anyway, hilarious stuff. I love that I came to a 3D printing podcast and just talked Selfie Series. For,
Well, I did not know they 3D printed those heads. Like, that's super interesting, and it goes to show you like the quality of some of the prints you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Formlabs is SLA, there's Selective Lasers SLA. Anyway, instead of like most of my machines have like a LCD screen and then like either an array of UV LEDs or a big bulb.
Yeah,
that just uses a laser, draws the thing, and it's very, very accurate. You can get really good stuff with it.
Cool.
I think they're up to like the Form 4 now too, which is gotta just be crazy.
Yeah, man, it's moving. Anyway,
Sure.
that's my face on an action figure, which is not the best in the world, but you know, it is what it is.
I love
Anyway.
the reveal. That was good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's the same as that guy there. Look, same.
Well,
Snake Eyes.
get yourself. You've got like a Snake Eyes hoodie, right?
I've got multiple. I've got every Snake Eyes hoodie going.
At Halloween, go to the Halloween store and get like a shitty brown wig.
You wait for it.
And then you just wear that. And you
do
can hold
my
up.
own. That is genius, Mark.
So that was that
oh
was
my god.
I kind of started to talk about it. Like, you were like, what annoyed you about Selfie Series? And like, the thing that annoyed me was that the first advertisement came out. It's like, well, this is interesting, and everyone was like, you know, like there were no close-ups. Like they didn't exist. I went looking, like, I'm like, that looks so cool. What are they doing? And I went trying to find a close-up image of what one of these heads looked like, and they didn't have any. So that little red flag killed it for me right out of the gate.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, there's a lot of red flags, wasn't there? Let's face it. Let's be fair with the whole situation, and I think. I just think it was like just not the right time to do it. I think they had too much. They had too much they needed to get really, really right, and they didn't really have the setup to do it, and that's one of the issues. I think mainly, I think really that the actual app itself also was one of the bugbears. I think if that had been a bit smoother, it'd have been so much better. And also, if you're doing that all the way around, as opposed to just like.
Well,
you know, just
with it, like Joe Schmo off the street should be able to pick it up and get a quality scan on the first try. But you can get really good results with that app.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if they had just waited a couple years, I think they could have crushed it. I think that it would have cost a little money to get somebody to create like an AI software that can kind of help just tighten it up, and then they could have done it. But like, to be clear though, I respect the hell out of Hasbro for trying, like, taking that risk, taking that big swing. Like, I'm glad they tried it.
Yeah, no one else really did it. That's for sure.
No,
so.
yeah, like holy crap! What a huge thing to try to do. So, I don't. Yeah, and I regret not getting one. So, I really wish I had.
Yeah, for sure.
Not all right.
I didn't need to be Snake Eyes.
I dressed up as Snake Eyes for Halloween, and I can't find the picture. But I should have done what you just said and just dressed up as Snake Eyes, left my face out, and put like a crap brown wig on. Yeah,
attach the figure to a lanyard and wear it while you're in the costume with the brown wig, and that'd be pretty amazing.
That would have been amazing. Amazing. what is it? Whenever I'm looking for something, always like, no, you're not going to find it right this second.
Yeah.
You're going to have to wait 7 days later when you're like, oh, there it is. But yeah, it was the movie Snake Eyes as well. That was even worse. So it was
wow.
the kid's costume. You remember the kid's costume? That actually came in one of these promo boxes, and I put it on. Just that was fun getting into that. And then it had I had the movie kind of like, it's just one of those
The front half of the mask.
front half kind of jobs, yeah. And I rocked that. Actually, no, I tell a lie. I didn't wear the front half. That's what I have for the costume, but I wore the Modern Icon Snake Eyes helmet, which was even more uncomfortable. Because have you ever seen that?
I've seen it. I haven't.
That I can grab.
It's big, right? Didn't they make it so like someone with a big ass
Right,
head
that's
can
what
fit
I'm
into it?
wondering. Is it the big one?
Is it like the dark helmet version of Snake Eyes? Is that?
Yeah. That looks
It's
pretty
the
tight.
Modern Icon, 'cause I have the Modern Icon. Yeah, I have the Cobra Commander one up there.
So you've got like a little bit of give in there, but this thing is unforgiving. This is it's unforgiving. It's like put it on.
It like when it clamshells back together, it would probably like pinch and pull the hair at the top of my head.
Do you know what the worst part is?
That left.
Like the only space is like you can kind of see the mesh inside the visor. My nose, it's really uncomfortable. You can kind of see the ridges in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a medieval torture device when you put this thing on, and my nose pushes up against the slat inside, and so it literally pushes my nose back like that when it's on. And yeah, getting it on and off is difficult.
You've got you make to look awesome.
The sacrifices I make to look really cool, right? That's a joke. But there is a bit of padding in there. You can see that look.
Yeah.
So there is some comfort.
I'm sure it's squished so tight it wasn't going anywhere anyway.
Exactly. But yeah, this is kind of cool. I've got the Cobra Commander one as well, which is pretty neat. But yeah, that's is that something you guys have ever delved into, is like kind of 3D printing these kind of things, or is it a little bit too large?
I've done it. Nope.
No.
I've done a Predator mask. You know the
I did a Cobra Trooper helmet, the classified one, right? With the it's kind of got that stripe thing going around.
Yeah,
I did one of those. 2021.
Damn.
The printers, the FDM printers I have, we bought because they were big enough to do a full size helmet in one piece.
Rekship said Hasbro did a Rogaine treatment on my Selfie Series beard. Genius. Hi Rekship85. Hi Figure 6-pack. Hi Bryce H. Hi everyone.
I do think the other execution piece that Hasbro really needed to iron out, and I don't even know if they still have this, the ball joint on all the bodies being different, because I think
so annoying.
Yeah, I think that Selfie Series actually would have jumped off had you been able to pop off your head and put it on another figure. But like a lot of the ball joints were different, so you don't know who it could actually fit on other than the Snake Eyes. You don't know if the Snake Eyes ball joint is one size just for that figure.
Dude, I don't know why that was such a problem for the whole line for so long.
Because when that line started, they didn't know if it was going to go anywhere, and they piecemealed out different characters to different vendors and didn't give any of them standards to go by.
Oh, that's really?
Crazy.
Yeah, so that's why none of those first shit, at least 15.
I mean, it hasn't really gone anywhere, has it? It hasn't really done much, the classified series.
They've turned it around, right? They've learned from their mistakes and they've updated. But in the beginning, it was just I think the intention was it was just gonna come out with that game, that terrible fucking game, and they're like, just make a figure that looks like this guy,
give them a tuning fork and call it a day.
I'm still surprised it took this long to get uniform ball joints that are neck ball joints, because Lenny did mention that the last, I think 2 events ago, he said, going forward these ones will have a uniform neck ball, and it's like, great, that's awesome, but there are 1,000 figures now and they're all different. It's nuts.
We'll get version 2 and 3 and they'll fix it, right? Maybe they might just repaint some shit. There's
a couple more years left in it, I think. A couple more years.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I found it. I found my Halloween costume.
There we go.
Snake Eyes. You ready?
Pop them up here.
Hold on.
Oh, here you go.
Ah,
Pretty
And I'm
legit.
also holding a tiny timber.
oh, nice.
And I've got like the sword and everything there.
So are your forearms out because the costume's just so damn small?
What do
It's
you
a
think?
kitty costume.
What
Yes.
do you think? Yeah, I'm telling you, that thing was
It makes you
tighter.
look jacked. Like
It made me feel really cool, but the body is not the same on the inside as it appears on the outside. Yeah, I supplemented with a pair of cool black baggy pants and my military sort of boots, which were only, I think, I want to say $25 from Walmart, by the way. They were real. They've been like a cosplay go-to for all of my G.I. Joe cosplays, honestly. But yeah, bit of fun for Halloween, that was. Oh, and Timber is right here. Here he is. So that's my Timber.
Funny how you keep Timber close by, but not your Selfie.
Oh,
I know. I keep all the plush nearby because they're cute and cuddly.
Where in the world did you get that?
That is from a company called Symbiote Studios. They do loads of them. Here's Cobra Commander.
That's
his little cape. Isn't that amazing? With a little chrome helmet and everything.
Yeah.
They do a loads of Transformers ones as well. So we've got Soundwave here with little shades on. You can see his little eyes underneath.
Nice.
And he's got his little shoulder cannon as well. How cute is that?
AA battery shoulder cannon.
Isn't that adorable?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot here. Now, this I will shout out Symbiote. They sent me these as like a, hey, check out our cool little things. But they're really cool and they're all officially licensed and what have you. So, and there's Prime and Megatron as well, but they'll all collapse if I take them all out. So I'll just leave them there. But yeah.
Nice.
Don't show my wife those.
They're really cool, and they come with little enamel pins as well, like little the same kind of like the heads, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, shout out Symbiote Studios.
I wonder if they're the ones that did the Ash from Army of Darkness.
Possibly.
Have you ever seen that one?
They've got a lot of stuff. Let me just check quickly.
Yeah.
Symbiote
Studios. We're gonna get the answer to this question, but then I think we're at an hour 17. We're gonna kind of wrap it up.
Yeah.
So if anybody in the chat's got any questions about 3D printing, or we've got Chris here for another like 2-3 minutes, we can.
I've got to go to bed in two minutes, guys. So
get those questions in quick if you're interested. Yeah.
Oh, they've got Dinobots.
Oh, okay, nice.
Restock.
Isn't that amazing?
That's scary.
And My Little Pony and all sorts. It's crazy.
Yeah. How did Chris and I kind of talked about it. How did you guys do with all the pre-orders this week?
Oh wow.
There were pre-orders this week.
Yeah, what's crazy is I really wish they would take the money for it right now so I could forget about it. I got everything. I think I got a couple of the claws. I had to.
Okay. Nice.
I didn't get on there quick enough. I missed everything that sold out. I didn't get. So
wow,
mate, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's right on the back of the crystal ball cancellation.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know what in the world they're going to do with that. That's just a whole cluster in itself.
That's Walmart, though. That's the hateful Walmart for you, basically.
What I hate about the most about the crystal ball figure is that I actually care about getting a crystal ball figure. That's the worst thing about it. That figure is
They've made you want him.
I really wanted him, and I was like, oh, it's going to show up on Walmart. I'll order, it should be easy to order. No, it's such a thing. And I think every order is going to get canceled by the time this thing's done. And they're going to show up.
Yeah, I got a shipping notification, or it was like, your item will be shipping soon, and then 2 days later canceled.
Yeah,
that sucks, guys. I will say, over the years, I've almost been sort of like conditioned to do something a certain way, and with pre-orders, it's like I'm just like refreshing like 5 minutes beforehand, like some sort of crazy person, like that's actually going to happen. And sometimes it does. Sometimes it's like a minute before the time, and all of a sudden they're up, and you're like, oh my god. But yeah, I'm Premium Pulse, Chrome desktop, laptop job, always logged in, credit card on file, everything
Yeah.
just lined up. Like knowing that it's just going to be, I'm going to have to do this rapid, and then I do it rapid, and then that's when I start going, oh yeah, I've got to share all this on the socials now for the show. And that's do you know what, that has become such a ball ache that I'm so glad that they leak the images, or people leak images the night before, because I'm just like, okay, I've already posted those, I'm not posting them again. It's like, it's good.
Yeah.
You've seen images, it's fine. So because for some reason as well, what really pisses me off is that when I'm trying to take the images off Pulse, especially if I'm doing it on my laptop, which sometimes is easier, sometimes it isn't, they kind of save as like WebP images, which don't really like work with what I'm trying to do a lot of the time. So I have to like export them as PNGs or whatever, and it takes ages to do that.
You know an easy way to do it, Chris?
Get someone else to do it.
Use Windows Snip Tool.
Okay.
Bring it up in the page and then snip it and then save it as I think it saves automatically as a PNG.
Kind of like it's like a cropped screenshot.
Like screen it basically, like screenshot. The thing is, I'm really, really anal about this, especially when I'm doing like the live streams. If I've got like a slideshow of images I'm showing, I hate it if they're low quality. Like I have to get them like from source, like the back end, original size. But no, yeah, 100%. I have done a lot of screenshots in my time to expedite the process. But yeah, it's and the other thing is there's about 15 different social platforms, and none of them are linked. I think Instagram and Threads are, but everything else is separate.
Threads will link to everything without you asking you.
Even asking it to, yeah. And like, but everything else is separate. So it's like, oh, it's such a ball ache. And Instagram's different because I can't put the link in. I have to put the link in separately.
Like
in bio.
The best like resolution and size for like Twitter is different from Facebook, is different from Instagram, is different from
so annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, my life is so hard, guys.
We did have a couple of questions. So we had a question: did Chris do the interview with Lenny and Tony yet? I would say which one?
There's been a few.
We've got another one.
We've got another one coming, but it's been postponed a little bit because I'm assuming there's some like Hasbro thing where they want to kind of have a little bit of a chill social period at the moment because of what's going on currently, I think, with the world. So I think that might be on hold for a little while, but they said May. So the Lenny Tony interview will be in May, and it'll just be before Yo.Joe June, and then of course I'll be interviewing them again after Yo.Joe June, because of course there'll be more things to absolutely destroy our wallets on, right?
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
and then Rexship said, but to be fair, most of them stick around for a while after the initial release of them. And that's, to me, I hate this. It's like the double-edged sword, which I fucking hate saying that. But like, when I've got a bunch of easy things to order and then like I get hosed on one, I feel like it's that much worse.
Okay. I didn't get, what is it? Breaker with the bubble gum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that like it was gone before I woke up.
Man.
Yeah.
Like West
Coast.
And
you're on the West Coast. That's the other thing. It's like sometimes this stuff kicks off and it's what, 6 a.m. for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's your own fault.
I guess.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll take responsibility for that.
That sucks though, man, that you have to be up so bloody early for this stuff.
Yeah.
And then not even get it.
You not get it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, like it stings when you can't get one.
Yeah. To me, my personal opinion is, yes, I understand how factories work. Yes, I understand, that there's shipping quantities and things like that. But how in the hell do you sell out of a pre-order that's not going to show up for a year? It's like you gather the pre-orders and you make at least as many pre-orders as you have received. It's not that hard.
I don't know why they don't kind of revert to a sort of model like that, but effectively they already have got they've already got it underway, and they've already ordered the amount they're going to order, if that makes sense.
I
So
think I can
Well,
understand that.
yeah, they
yeah,
want to lock
I
in.
get it though.
They
I
want to
get it,
lock
and
in
a
the
lot, there are a lot
price.
of companies that work almost like to pre-order.
Yeah.
In fact, the majority of all the other like companies like below that sort of level do, and it just makes sense. Yeah, like you make the you get your pre-orders in, they help for production, but at the same time, it'll be one of those things where, and I'll tell you this from a smaller company point of view,
Mhm.
will be an element where, because there's a balance, you have to put the order in initially, and you have to there's that kind of business is done, right? Then obviously your pre-orders go up, and you're seeing how the pre-orders are doing, and usually you've got enough to cover those pre-orders. If you don't, then obviously you're going to have to order more. That's going to
Right.
be more. That's going to be exponentially more cost for the company itself. In Hasbro's position, they've probably got enough to deal with that stuff. Other companies, though, don't have that sort of
Right.
capital sort of parachute, as it were. But yeah, it's all really done in a way to maximize profits. That's in the sad, horrible hellscape of a world that we're in. It's really just to maximize profits at the end of the
Yeah.
day, and that's why. And it's weird, because you're kind of going, yeah, but more people want to buy these things. Surely that would help. But you add that onto a production run, and the factory will tell you pretty quickly how less money you're going to make based on that extra amount. But yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, mate. Big time.
Yeah. At that point too, it makes me wonder, why are they doing it as pre-order, which makes me think it's more the psychological of,
Yeah,
oh no, I can't get this. The next time I see it show up, I better buy 20 of them.
100%.
So I think there's a lot of psychology going on with the ordering process, and I think also they want it to sell out, and even if they have extra stock, because then that way, if you see it in the store, you're like, oh, there's rarity to this. I better buy it now.
There's definite FOMO going on, isn't there?
Which is a shame that we're in that kind of world, because that takes all the fun out of it. But it is what it is.
I hate not finding stuff in stores, guys. I hate it.
Yeah.
It hurts me. I want to go into a Target and see
never
everything I
find
want to see,
store.
like
Yes.
100. And it's weird, like there's also that element of like, I get enjoyment seeing it even if I've already got it. Like if I've got it and I go in and see it, I'm, oh cool, like there's an Outback there, there's a friggin' whatever. Like it's
Some
like
kid might come across this, and now that's his favorite toy.
totally. It's got a kitty shirt. Of course, it's his favorite toy.
Yes, of course.
I've just about gotten over it though. I mean, like, just if I'm able to get it online, that's one thing. I do appreciate being able to walk into a store and seeing shelves with stuff on it.
Yeah.
But that's not happening.
No.
It's funny enough, I wonder if Hasbro will have to switch to a model that's more similar to that eventually, especially with like how things are going and how things can change. And
I think the pricing with everything that's going on, I think the pricing is going to become so high that it is going to move more to a kind of more of a high-end collector's market.
Yeah.
Almost, almost like what Super 7 has done with a lot of their pre-orders, where I get the feeling they're not even making, those things are being gated by how many orders are placed. That's why you're seeing them finally be delivered 2-3 years after they went through the ordering process. What it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they just get canceled. That
the last couple of things they did, I actually was interested in, never saw any of it.
Yeah. Which ones were those, Mark?
Like the Serpentor and the Fatal Fluffies. Have those even hit the Fatal Fluffies?
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen any Fatal Fluffies on a shelf.
I never saw them on a shelf.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah. I'll give them props with what they did. I ordered my Cold Slithers Artwann 2 weeks ago, and I've got it in hand. So even though it was a quote unquote pre-order, they were shipping as soon as they hit the website. I got a Ramar as well.
Nice.
Yeah, They actually when you go to order those, you'll see it doesn't say pre-order; it'll say order on on the site. But you're right; like it's all done in the same sort of way, so you're kind of expecting it to be a pre-order.
Yeah.
And then you see that you order it, and then it's like shipping today, tomorrow.
Right.
You're like, huh? Okay,
Where'd that come
cool.
from?
Yeah. I'm gonna flex again. Sorry, they sent me the wave, the Wild Bill Snake Eyes, and
Nice.
Zartan wave.
Hey, can you zoom in on that? Does the
how many fingers?
6 fingers, or is that only the bad artwork?
How many fingers has he got? How many fingers does he have, guys? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good.
Okay,
just a normal amount for the action figure.
Good. I cannot believe that artwork actually made it on packaging with 6 fingers.
I can. Like, there's always mistakes that, you can go back throughout history and see little things like that.
True.
Different, the rivets being, the other way, all types of little manufacturing mistakes and things like that. I think things like that can slip by.
The issue with that is
different than, actually just using AI artwork and not even checking.
And there is the problem. It's because a lot of people, and I think rightfully so, do not like the AI stuff.
Oh God, no!
It's like, every artist you've ever known, we don't need them anymore.
AI has so many good applications. None of it is to replace artists for, especially G.I.JOE artwork, because like one of the things that I've kind of said for many years is that the G.I.JOE experience, especially the one we had, was the all-encompassing, like the packaging, the artwork, the file card, the cross-sell, the figure, the accessory. It's everything about it. It's everything. It's not just like it's, I kept all my file cards as a kid. I've got the whole stack at home in the UK in a shoebox, like literally just a huge stack of file cards still. If I'd have been more aware, I probably would have kept the whole card. But as a kid, you kind of like you're following.
I would have never opened my figures, and I would have stored them in a vault, and I would probably be retired. But
I would have been thinking about it. I'd have bought all of it that day. With the AI thing, that is 100% an exec just deciding, let's go save some money here and let's do this. And it's one of those things. It's just like I do wish those aspects weren't part of it. Sometimes I just wish it was like, can you just maybe not like stay in your lane, right? Go over there. Creatives will do their thing here. You do the business side of things, but let's kind of stay in our lane. But it happens a lot, and I think with the Wild Bill one, I don't know, like I've seen it close up, and for a little while I thought it was a case of the explosion behind is the same color in that explosion of the hole in the trigger, and there was an element where I was looking at it kind of going, maybe it could have been that it's got like the 4 fingers on the actual, they took my thought process was that they doctored it, that maybe they didn't want the finger on the trigger because it was a bit too aggressive maybe, so they decided to edit it off the trigger but didn't do a good enough job of it. And then I was thinking, I don't know, maybe it is just AI and the vendor they used it, they didn't realize, didn't check it properly, someone wasn't doing their job along the line, and you end up with that. I have been informed that the retro box art for the classified, the Flint Televiper cover girl, I've been told officially that wasn't a knowingly AI from Hasbro's perspective, but I think it's just bad.
It wasn't
I think it's just
bad from these guys that were amazing. It seemed like just digital art from somebody.
It's just not.
They found online.
It's just not very good, is it? It's not like, I don't think it's AI. I just think it's not very good with the.
I don't understand why.
I think it might even be good. I think it's more like the uncanny valley. We're used to seeing things a certain way.
There's an expectation that we have that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, good.
I just don't understand why they would have to change it. I mean, it's the retro card back. Why can't they just use the retro art?
Yeah.
I mean, Flint exists. We know that. We've seen that being used on multiple things. In terms of a cover girl, there isn't anything to use really.
That's understandable. Yeah.
That you could get away with doing something new. But I think it's the fact that you want to keep it in the same vein as what's come before. And I feel like the retro card art just hasn't quite got it right yet. Not even just the Flint Televiper cover girl artwork. I would say, like, if you go back, the whole retro series they've done
I agree.
has been kind of all over the place a little bit. It's
Baron
not.
was definitely an uncanny valley for me because they changed the gun and they changed some of the details. So you look at the art and you know what it's supposed to look like, and it's just
If they had that exact artwork that's on the retro Flint, and it had been on like the packaging like this, maybe some people would have been like, eh, but it wouldn't have been a big deal. Like they're calling it retro.
Yeah, expectation. You're right.
Expectations that already exist. Yeah.
Here's the expectation.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
And this is on a very recent Hasbro. It's like there they are. There's the artwork, guys. Use that.
Yeah.
And that's been touched. That's not the exact original no shit Baroness art.
This one might be the OG. I think they've got the Baroness still. Scarlet, I think, is the OG one. Cobra Commander's been slightly changed, ever so slightly. I think for the 25th line, I want to say. And then there's a few that are cool, that are like original, sort of as original as you can get. And then there's the 25th era, which kind of really did doctor a lot of them. There's a great example in one of my sneaker boxes over there. It's the Snake Eyes Storm Shadow A6 sneakers that came out like 20 whatever it was, 17, 18. And yes, it was 18, wasn't it? And they used the 25th art instead of the original Snake Eyes version 2 and Storm Shadow version 2 art. And it kind of bugged me because I'm like, that version 2 is for Storm Shadow is so iconic. Earl Norham, beautiful artwork. And then the 25th one is good, but it's not like it's not perfection sort of thing. But yeah, there she is.
Yeah. So and maybe it's just like the scan that this image came from. That to me, I think her face and head are a little different. But
this could
none
be 25th.
None of this is good enough that I can really tell.
This could be 25th. But the beauty part of this, though, is that this doesn't look out of place.
Correct.
Like this Baroness looks right, even though it's like maybe doctored with the 20. But yeah, in terms of like the some of the other ones, it's like you're right. Like it's an absolute crapshoot, honestly.
Yeah, they went too far. Anyway, we really do need to wrap it up.
Bedtime.
Man,
after your damn bedtime. Artwann hasn't had lunch yet.
It's 3 weeks ago right now for you.
Yeah, exactly. I wish it was early enough to get that breaker.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I'll find it. Yeah.
It's going up for pre-order in 5 minutes. Go quick.
I think enough people didn't get a lot of stuff that there's got to be some more.
You'll get them for scalper prices on eBay, right?
Pretty much.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anything before we close? Anything coming up or that we need to look forward to, especially for Chris, and then for us?
Yeah.
G.I.JOE June, more pre-orders. Let's do it.
Oh, when is the Cold Slither? When is San Diego Comic-Con?
July 23rd,
July
2025.
Okay, I'm really looking forward to not being able to buy the Cold Slither set, just along with everything else that I've not been able to get.
I'm terrified. I hate exclusives so much. Oh, I just get flashbacks to the Cobra Island debacle and the Target exclusive pit era in like 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
Network. Do you remember Network, the app? The Cobra Commander Network.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the special Cobra Commander and wasn't. And, yeah.
Oh my God. Let's have another one of those.
They're hiding them. Yeah. But the messed up thing is like they were. They were. And we know you've got a case in stock. They're like, oh well. I'm gonna sell that shit on eBay. All right. Anyway, for us, we don't have a schedule or anything planned right now.
Same.
I imagine come next Sunday we'll just move back to our regular earlier time. I'll try and
My
come up
bad.
with a guest.
My
you know,
bad. Sorry, guys.
You're not the first. You won't be the last.
Oh, the Chuckles
Hopefully.
SDC QR codes. That was another bad one. Yep. Oh boy.
Yeah. So.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. I've really enjoyed it, and I appreciate you guys having me on and chatting. It's always fun talking G.I. Joe and 3D printing in this case. Thank you very much.
Yeah, like I seriously had no idea they were 3D printing Selfie Series. So that's
cool, isn't it?
cool.
Learn something new
every day.
Cool. All right, guys. Chris, thank you again, and we'll catch you guys next Sunday.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
All right.
Yo, Joe.
Yo, Joe.
Full force.